Greetings, welcome to another edition of the Friday the 13th YouTube channel. Today you're going to be watching an interview with Brazilian death metal band Krisiun, who have just released their new album Mortem Solis on Sensual Media Records. So I'd like to thank Alex, the singer and bass player, for doing the interview. I'd also like to thank Andy at Sensual Media. So please share on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram and any social media sites. So thanks for watching, Metalheads, be safe, enjoy the interview, stay metal. So, folks, welcome to the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today we're talking to Alex from the band Krisiun. Welcome to Friday 13th, Alex.
Thanks, man.
How's things in Brazil?
Um, Good actually. We been playing a few shows here and there, and things are going back to normal finally. Um, it's actually lots of shows happening right now. Um, we just finished this South American run with Belfagor and a couple of local bands, Nervo Chaos and Crypta, and it went pretty well. Everything's fine. Things are catching up back again finally.
Brilliant. Okay, well, welcome to Friday 13th. This is the first interview.
Thanks, man.
This is the first interview I've done with you guys. So I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions first.
All right.
First of all, at what age did you learn to play the bass guitar, and was the bass guitar your first instrument?
Wow, it was a long time ago, man. It was talking about like high school days, you know what I mean? Like I would say I was 15 years old or something like that. It's been a while. Um, there was this guy, he had a guitar, and then we're close friends, and he was playing the guitar. He needed a bass player, and I picked it up a bass and started playing. You know what I mean? It's like talking a long time ago, and I was hooked up ever since. You know what I mean? Been doing this. So yeah, a long time, man. I was 15 years old.
All right, then. So was the bass guitar your first instrument?
Actually, it was I was trying out like the drums first. The guys needed a drummer, and then was we're like close friends, you know. I mean, so I was just and trying out, you know. I mean, we're close friends, and then we decided to start up a band. They needed a drummer, so I was trying out, and then I started a band with my brothers, and at that point, Max was playing the drums, and the bass was what was left for me. You know, I mean, Moses picked up the guitar, Max the drums, and then the bass was what was left for me. So I tried out, and then I hooked up ever since.
Oh wow, interesting. So, which bass guitarists inspired you to play the bass? Which bass players
Well,
inspired you?
back then, I would say Geezer Butler, Steve Harris, Joey DeMaio, um, all those great bass players from those early rock and roll metal bands. Um, I was listening to AC/DC, Judas Priest, and then Slayer came out, Metallica, Morbid Angel. But I would say like my main influences are like uh, the band itself. You know, I mean, I try to to develop my own way to play and get my sound within the band. You know, I mean, I think my main influence are like the guys in the band. You know, I mean, I I was like learning how to play, and then next thing you know, you gotta find a way to 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 get your stuff like a listenable within the music we're playing. You know what I mean? There's lots of great bass players out there, but we are like a three piece, and then you gotta find a way to sound, um, you know what I mean, good. You know what I mean, with the guys you're playing, and then it was it. I would say Lemmy as well. I think Lemmy was my main influence because Motorhead was a three piece, and then he had that loud bass, like with some distortion in the bass. So yeah, it was it. I would say like all them guys, you know, what I mean, like those early rock and roll guys, they all had an influence on me.
Okay, what about the death metal bands later on?
You mean like
Like no,
back
like
in the early days?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, like I said, we were listening to rock bands, early metal bands, and then there was like Possessed, Morbid Angel, early Decide, Cannibal Corpse. Um, yeah, the great early bands. Anything from Possessed to Cannibal Corpse, Morbid Angel, Slayer, or even Metallica. You know what I mean? It was like the the evolution of metal. You know what I mean? Like we're listening to road metal, rock and roll bands, and then these bands they came out. You know what I mean? And then I was like hooked. You know what I mean? Ever since I remember listening to Morbid Angel for the first time, and it was like going crazy on it. So yeah, I would say Morbid Angel, Cannibal Corpse, Decide, Possessed, pretty much.
Oh wow, interesting. What about Brazilian bands? What Brazilian bands inspired you?
Oh yeah, early Sepultura for sure. So let's say early Sarcophago. Um, there was this band called Leviathan from South Brazil. But basically, Sepultura and Sarcophago, the early Sepultura, pretty much, it was a huge influence on us.
Okay then. So what was the first band you actually joined professionally? What was the first band
What was that?
What was the first band you joined professionally?
Well, professionally, it was Krisiun. I mean, before Krisiun was just like I was saying, it was like this high school band. We're just playing small gigs, nothing really serious. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was ever since we started Krisiun, we've been playing with Krisiun only. I got a few projects here and there, just like for fun. You know what I mean? Playing with friends here and there, but nothing serious, nothing professional, just for fun. I would say Krisiun is has been the main thing, you know what I mean, the main band.
Okay then. So what does Krisiun mean?
Krisiun is a Latin name. Krisiun um, is the deepest crater on the moon, the biggest abyss on the moon. If you check on on a moon book, you'll find different. They call it like seas, you know what I mean, or seas of abominations, you know what I mean, in Latin words. So the deepest crater on the moon is called Krisium.
Okay, so was that the first name you got for the band you had? Was that the first name?
Yeah, yeah. We've been ever since we named it Krisium, we kept it like for forever.
Okay.
First name and still.
Okay, then so what's it like being in a band with two brothers? Do you all get on along together, or is the personality clashes?
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy ride, you know what I mean? It's a ride filled up with ups and downs, you know what I mean? Since we're brothers, you know what I mean, we kind of uh it's a it's we got to deal with the fact that we're family, you know what I mean? Um you know how it is, like being a brother. We got no problem to tell each other anything. You know what I mean? I would say it helps because we're we've been together ever since we born, so we know each other pretty well. And then jamming is like our favorite thing. You know, I mean, I love jamming with the guys. And then if we have a problem, we don't turn our backs on each other. We tell each other what we feel about anything. You know, what I mean, you see many bands they having problems with their lineups, and uh, uh, bands are splitting up because they can't tolerate things like sometimes small things. You know what I mean? But for us, we like I said, we ain't got no problem to tell each other the truth. Uh, Even though sometimes we piss each other off, you know what I mean? But we love what we do. the band is like our main goal. You know, I mean, sometimes you got to deal with each other's uh, faults. You know, I mean, so it's I would say it's a great thing. You know, I mean, even though sometimes we got sick of each other, uh, we're like we're brothers. We know how to handle each other. So it's I would say it helps. It's a positive thing. Yeah.
Okay, then. So your first album came out in 1995, Black Force Dominion. So what label put that out? How excited was you to release your first album back then?
Oh, it was a great thing for us. We were super excited about it, and I remember that album being released by four different labels back then. You know, I mean, we didn't have like a solid deal. Uh, First, we got a deal with a Brazilian label, and then right afterwards, a couple of European labels, and then an American label. So it's been like back then, before we signed up with Century Media, we had the album released through four or five different labels, and I remember it was we got this crazy deal. You know, I mean, we sent them the tapes, and then they put out like 1,000 copies. They give you like a certain amount of copies as a payment. Not really serious, but uh, it helped us back then. You know, I mean, it was like the deal we could find it. You know, I mean, it was a different thing back then. You know, I mean, the contracts were just like not really a contract. It was just you know, I mean, some sort of a deal. So yeah, I think it was good for us. You know, I mean, because we had it spread out like over Europe, US, in South America through different labels. So yeah, it was good times, man. Good times, good days, good memories. Lots of struggles, and but when you're young, you can handle that. You can just like, you know, I mean, deal with anything that happens and keep moving forward. So yeah, good times, man. Good times back then. Good times.
All right, because you've done like 12 albums so far. You've had quite a big history, haven't you? You're not a new band. You've been around for some time.
Yeah, 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 man. We're fucking we've been around the block for a while, and then yeah, we kind of ever since we signed up with Century Media, we we had the opportunity to keep the cycle. You know, I mean, like recording albums, going out on tour, and then um, yeah, I think we're we're lucky. You know, what I mean, because when you got like a solid deal with a solid record label, you got the chance to keep doing what we do. You know, I mean, I know sometimes it's hard for some bands. You know, I mean, to get their stuff out and promote it and going out on tour. But well, like I said, we've been lucky enough to keep the cycle moving. You know, I mean, like um, record an album, going out on tour, going back home for a little while, and then same thing over and over. I remember like back in the early 2000s, we were like doing like 5 or 6 tours within a year. You know, I mean, like lots of shows, and then yeah, we were like I said, we're lucky. Um, we're so grateful to 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 all the people who helped us, like especially the audience. You know, what I mean, people who bought our albums back then, they kept us moving. You know, what I mean, uh, I know sometimes it's just hard to keep doing what you do. You know, what I mean, there's so many bands out there, so many record labels and managers pushing their bands, and we, like I said, we're fortunate enough to keep moving further. You know, what I mean, it's a crazy ride, and we're still motivated to keep doing what we do. We're still in love with this style of music, so we keep going, man.
Okay, so am I right in saying your first album with Century Media Records was called Assassination?
No, no. The first album we done at Century Media. It was Conquerors of Armageddon, our
Okay,
third album.
right, okay. I do apologise for that.
It's all right, man. It's all good.
I mean,
It's all good.
I was just looking at you dedicated that assassination to Dimebag and somebody called Doc. Who's Doc with Vader's drummer?
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah, good drummer, good drummer.
yeah. It was bad. I remember like right before the release of the album, we were out on tour with Vader. We done quite a few tours with Vader back then, and Doc was just a great friend. Was like a brother for us, and then it was just hard, man. It was just hard to deal with it. Same thing for Dimebag, you know. I mean, it was just I don't know. I mean, I even feel like speechless, you know. I mean, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was just hard to deal with it. So we it was the least we could do, you know. I mean, like dedicate the album and then yeah, but especially for Doc, Doc was like a close friend. Like I said, he was. I remember um, before he died, they were in Brazil. So they came to our house right in this living room here. We're drinking beer here, and then next thing you know, he died. You know, I mean, so it was bad, but life goes on. And Vader is a band that I respect like the most. You know, I mean, I love Vader. Uh, Doc's playing was just awesome. Was just a great friend, you know. I mean, like, it was a big loss, big fucking loss.
Yeah. Okay then, Alex. I'm going to talk about the new album, then, Mortem Solis. Why did you decide to call the album Mortem Solis? What was the reason behind it?
Well, Mortem Solis means death of the sun. So it's we thought it was like suitable for what's going on these days. You know, I mean, we've been dealing with lots of uh, degrading things. You know, I mean, like we've been through those crazy couple of years. You know, I mean, like uh, all of a sudden we're stuck at home, and then we see people dying and losing perspectives, losing their jobs, and then it feels like uh, mankind is just uh, marching towards the abyss. You know, I mean, like by itself. You know, I mean, people seem to be degrading themselves. You know, I mean, and all the war and then the especially I would say death of the sun is like when you approach the end of our resources. You know, I mean, the death of light, the end of our resources. You know, I mean, it's basically some kind of a apocalyptic um, uh, message. You know, I mean, it's not that we're preaching anything bad or we're looking for the end or anything, but death of the sun basically would mean like the the end of our lights, the end of our resources. You know what I mean?
Okay. Did you have any other titles for the album?
No, not really. We thought about few different things, but we wanted to get some different other than just another English title. You know, I mean, I think it sounds like a pretty strong. You know, I mean, it's not like a common title. It's a Latin word, and the title "Death of the Sun." I think it's pretty suitable for what's going on these days. Like I
Okay
said,
then.
things are going back to normal. We're so happy to to going back on the road again, but was you never know, man. This is it feels like the earth itself is getting sick with mankind and giving us uh, these crazy messages. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, we're not preaching the end of the world, but we see things going badly, and we thought "Death of the Sun" would be a suitable title for what's going on these days.
Okay, I mean the album was produced by Andy Carson, who's with Holy Moses. How did you hook up with Andy?
No, actually, this the latest one was produced by Mark Lewis, the American Mark Lewis.
All right.
He
Okay.
he done this side. He mixed it a Megadeth album, a bunch of American bands, and we recorded here. We tracked the instruments here, and we sent it over for him to mix and master. So it was we actually the previous album we done with Eddie Classen. Uh, so we done lots of albums with Andy. We love Andy. We love his sound, but it was a time for a change. We thought we needed to go uh, different ways. Because like I said, we love his sound, but it was a time for a change. We were looking for something different. Like I said, we recorded in our town, São Paulo. So it was like it felt good because the studio was like 10 minutes driving from our house. So we could relax more. We could experience different things as far as gear, it was more like a relaxing recording. Um, it felt good about it. And then we sent it over to Mark Lewis and he mixed and master. And we were very happy with the outcome.
Right then, so working with Mark, it must have been interesting because, like you say, he's worked with Megadeth, so he's probably one of the heaviest bands you've worked with, I presume.
Yeah. Actually, he done this. They put the album. What's the album? Uh, One of the early Megadeth albums. It was like a reissue. So they remastered and remixed the album. So that's what he did. It was like he remixed it, I think that's the album "Killing Is My Business" or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It was like it didn't do the original mixing. He did this remix for the reissue.
Okay then, so did you produce the album yourselves for people out there that don't know?
Yeah, pretty much. We had this guy here. It was awesome. It was like a local producer. His name is Hugo, and he helped us out a lot. Was a great producer, and like I said, we felt good. Uh, it was a different thing, when you can just work things out and go back home, relax, and sleep in your own bed, and think about things. When you're well, like for example, when we recorded with Andy, we had to go to his studio and stick around, for the whole recording. We didn't have much uh, uh, different options as far as trying different things. It was just like his way. Uh, I love his ways. He did a great job for all the albums he produced. But it was for this time around, it was different. We could go back home every night, think about it, uh, possible mistakes, and redo things. It was more like a flexible, flexible way to record it when you were recording close to home.
That's cool. So how long did it take to record the album, Alex?
Oh, for track, the whole thing was like I guess 20 days,
That's
and
pretty.
then
That's pretty quick. That's pretty
another.
fast. That's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was fast, man. It was we we working hard on about building the songs. We got together in the practice room, and then we were ready to record it. We lots of rehearsals before I entered the studio. So when we got to the studio, we were ready. So it didn't take much time.
Okay then. So what's your favourite songs off the new album? Do you have any favourites?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I like how the songs. We put a lot of heart, a lot of work on the album. I would say um, there's one particular track which is kind of different. It's the fourth track. It's more like a mid-tempo track.
Yeah, I remember that
Uh,
one. Yeah, I remember reviewing
yeah,
it
yeah,
for you.
yeah, yeah. But like I said, it's hard for me to point this or that song, because we put a lot of hard work on our songs, man.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not to brag about or anything. It's just I don't really have a favorite couple of tracks, uh, but I would say yeah, the fourth track, Necronomical, Sword Enemies, Sempre Messiah, As Angels Burn. But like I said, I like all the songs.
I mean, I reviewed the album for you, and I give it 4 out of 5. And I said your music's kind of cross between Nile, Vader, Malevolent Creation, them sort of bands. Do you
You
agree?
got it, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. I'll send you the link now. I've got your email. I can send it to you so you can check it out.
I will, man.
Yeah, so it's a very brutal album, but like I say, for a three-piece, you've really got it
Yeah,
together.
thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
So how many promotional videos are you doing for this album? Or how many have you done so far?
We done like two video clips and two lyric videos up to right now. So four videos total.
Okay then, so how long is the deal with Sensual Media Records? Are you still happy with them?
Actually, we just re-signed it. You know, I mean, we got a new deal. I think we got another three records.
Wow, excellent, congratulations. So when you look back at all your albums you've done, Alex, how do you see the band as a progression? How do you see the band progressing through each album?
Oh man, it's hard to say, but um, I know for some people, you know, what I mean, like if they're not really familiar with the style of death metal, uh, I think every death metal band would sound the same for them, you know what I mean? But we're definitely trying to develop the way we do things, you know what I mean? If you're familiar with the band, if you're familiar with the style, you can tell like each album has a uh, different approach. Even though it's the same style, we always try to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like that's why we try a different studio, a different producer. You know what I mean? Uh, and like I said, it takes a lot of work to build it up. Like uh, uh, it's a lot of work, a lot of structures. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of rehearsals to build it up. And I think each album has its own thing, you know what I mean? Even though people, like I say, some people would say, oh, the death metal is just noise or they all sound the same. Uh, and I would say the main reason, the bottom line is like keep motivated. You know what I mean? We're still motivated to do what we do. Uh, uh, we motivate each other in the band. You know what I mean? Like when we talk about the influences, you know what I mean? I got my personal influences as far as a bass player, but my main motivation is like the guys in the band. You know what I mean? Sometimes you feel miserable, or sometimes you feel lazy about certain things. You know what I mean? And then you got motivated by your bandmates. You know what I mean? So yeah, we kind of push each other like to keep moving further, and I think that's the the, the bottom line, the main reason for us to keep moving. And it's up to people, it's up to the audience to 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 tell us if we're uh, uh, still a good band or not. You know, I mean, some people they don't like it. That's all right, but we appreciate a lot like those guys which are like still supporting the band. And yeah, we like if we talk about metal, if we talk about this style of music, it's it's a common thing. You know what I mean? We're pretty much depending on each other to keep things moving. Like uh people like you, or the kids out there buying the records. It's we're talking about union, you know what I mean? Like if people are still digging the stuff that we're doing, we're gonna keep moving
Okay then,
further.
so do you write all the lyrics yourself then, Alex? You're the main songwriter.
Yeah, I do the lyrics, but it's everyone has ideas, you know what I mean? The guys they tell me about certain things they would like to see on the lyrics, and then I put it on the paper, but it's everybody's ideas.
Okay then, so when do we expect to see the band tour in Europe and the UK? Do you have any plans for this year?
Oh, we're coming over. We're coming over, I guess, next October, November with Nile, and then we're hitting the UK for sure.
Oh, that's next year.
No, this year,
Oh, okay,
next
cool.
October.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent, excellent. So, do you plan on doing a live video DVD for this album?
Oh, yeah, I hope so. Yeah, we'll think about it. We're definitely. it's definitely a great idea. You know, I mean, like after the release of the album and the release of this um, videos, like a live recording, a live video, it's a great idea. I'm definitely gonna think about it.
Oh, excellent. So, Alex, I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you
Keep,
so much, man. I appreciate the
yeah,
support. It's super important for us, like guys like you, like supporting us.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
We'll keep in touch. Do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube?
Oh man, I just want to say thanks to all the people who's been digging us, and thanks to you for the support, for the opportunity,
Thank you.
and hopefully we meet up and sometime soon. Let me know if you're coming to any of the shows. I'll put your name on the guest list.
Cheers, Alex.
All right,
Thank
cheers,
you.
brother.
Bye. Thank
Thank
you.
you, my man.
Yeah.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.